Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Brimstone on Fracture. Today is day 42 of playing every agent on every map. I know I kind of spammed Fracture and Lotus videos, that's because Fracture and Lotus are new in the map pool, but tomorrow we're gonna look at a different map. But for now, I would say Brim is probably the best agent to play as a smokes on this map, even though I myself am not really a Brim player. I started playing him on Fracture and I found out that he is actually pretty useful and he is pretty good to use on this map in general. Because he has a lot of combination possibilities with his ult and other ults, and his smokes are pretty easy to place, his kit is pretty easy to use. And if you are a new player, I especially recommend you play Brim on Fracture and also on Bind, because he is one of the better smokes you can play on these maps, and he is pretty easy to learn. Before we start the video, I gotta show you something you have probably never seen before. If you haven't seen it, you gotta leave a sub. It helps me out a lot and it makes it possible for me to make more content. And if you have, comment how many times you've gotten it yourself. Other than that, don't forget to like and sub. Woohoo! Rampage! Second time I've gotten that. Starting off with A side defense. On A side, I recommend as a Brim you play right here. Right here in tower is pretty good because you can smoke for A.
Smoke's down.
If your team needs it, but you're also pretty fast on B. If your team needs smokes on B, you can then just smoke main and arcade. So you are playing basically fast rotate. So I don't recommend you play on the side itself. Play more towards the connector in the middle, so you have fast rotates to every side. Another thing you can do as a Brim, if you play up here, is as soon as you hear steps in main, and they are not coming out here, and they're for example taking the orb, because the orb can be seen from up here, you can use your molly to open up the door. And do a lot of damage on the people trying to take the orb, and just in general do a lot of damage on the people coming out here. This is especially good if you have teammates that are playing close up here. The enemies are going to be distracted by those guys, and if you open the door you can get some free kills in the back of them. Something you can also do with a Brim ult that can also be combined with a Breach ult, and especially a Breach stun. If you have your Breach standing right here, and he stuns through here, as soon as he hears steps, you can wait with your Brim ult all the way back here. As soon as Breach stuns, you use your ult, and then your Breach pushes through here with a flash or something, and everyone in main is gonna be flashed. Everyone back here is gonna be stunned and trying to get away from your ult, and it's gonna take a lot of damage. There's a couple of people that have gotten aces off of this. I myself haven't gotten one yet, but that's just because I don't really play Brim on this map. I started playing him recently and I found out he is actually pretty useful. And it helped me a lot to watch other people playing Brim before. That's what I recommend you do if you start playing a new agent. Watch other people doing it and maybe copy some things off of them. With an ult like this, you can basically kill all of the enemies that are trying to come A main, and then focus on the rest of the people coming drop, or even on the people lurking towards B side. Something that is also pretty useful if you're playing close here, but you don't think they are actually coming here, is to go close, open up the door, and then maybe actually push this with a teammate and even take this orb, because Brim ult is pretty strong. As soon as Taiko's signature ability gets nerfed, the Brim ult is going to be the best thing to deter a Killjoy ult, especially in the god spot right here in under. That's why I recommend you farm your Brim ult and then actually wait for either a Killjoy ult or a free kill, like for example if they're all coming through main and you have a stun. Other things that are worth doing is if you play with two people on Dish and you play a Brim, is to actually push Dish, because Fracture is a pretty easy map to control a lot of space. If you have two people arcade, two people Dish, and you push towards here, you can clear out half the map, and you know they have to come from either main A or main B, or they go under and then go arcade. But this is really good for map control, because if you have cleared out this space right here, this close here, and all of this space, it's gonna be pretty hard for the enemies to get in, because they have one opening, two openings on A if they want to go A, and they have one opening on B main, and if you hold on to the arcade control, they only have one way to get into B main. That's why you basically only need like 3 people to hold the whole of the map, and this is in general pretty good. If you hear them coming in towards A, and you are in tower or CT close, because you rotated over, a molly over here, you can see the top of this thing, just shoot it like this, and it lands in main and doesn't let them come out. And everyone who's already out is gonna take a lot of damage if he tries to go back in, which is pretty good for fighting site. Another really good thing is, if you hear them planting, is to just ult the site like this. Look at this spot, look at this spot right here is the middle of your Brim ult. Because like that, you get everyone that is planting in the safe spot right here. And they have to run over here in this corner, which you then can clear out with a molly, like this. And just hold them, or with Techo mollies here too, or just a breach stun, breach aftershock, just any util that goes here is pretty good to deter them from planting, and you can get some free kills off of that. For defensive smokes, I recommend you smoke right here on drop.
Launching smoke.
If you don't have anyone playing drop. Then also in main a little deeper, so you have the space right here to be able to hide, like for example right here, or even in the smoke. And you can also like hide close here, which is also a pretty strong spot, especially for a jet, but not like really for a brimstone, because it's kind of hard to get out of here with a brimstone. And the third smoke is one right here on door.
Launching smoke.
I don't really recommend using this smoke all the time, but if they always go through this door, this smoke can be used pretty effectively. Another thing is that Brim doesn't have rechargeable smokes, so I'd only recommend if they are hitting a site and you are not 100% sure that they're actually hitting the site, but you have like a lot of people here, just use 2 smokes. Save the last smoke to resmoke either main if they planted on A, or to retake B site, for example to smoke main off or smoke the spike. This is in general a pretty good thing you can do with a Brim, just save 1 smoke for the actual site hit or for the retake. If you're playing somewhere on A and you hear your team screaming, yeah, they are running over B, come fast. Use your stim beacon here in spawn, because here in spawn it is a pretty easy stim beacon to throw, and everyone that is coming from A is going to be in the stim beacon and is going to be faster towards B, where they can help the rest of the team out. This is also pretty good because you can then shoot faster if you're in the stim beacon. And this is especially good if you have a weapon like a Odin or a Phantom, which is meant for spraying. Now that we are on B, I'd also recommend for you to play somewhere close in CT. For example, right here, to just hold the walkout right here. Or somewhere towards here, where you can see the cross right here. These 2 spots are really important because like that you get information over anyone going through arcade or anyone going through main. So nobody can take site if you have these 2 angles from CT. If they are coming B, I recommend you either put a smoke right here in arcade, if they are not yet through arcade, because this smoke right here is a pretty good smoke that can block them off all of the spots, and you can even peek through here this edge with a jet or something like that. And if they are already through arcade, I'd recommend you smoke close here.
Launching smoke.
Because like that, you kind of give them the option to go into tower, but getting out of tower is a pretty hard task if they don't have any flashes, and you can also throw a molly to make this even harder. You can then just hold the bottom smoke right here. If they're trying to walk out, you get some free kills, because you can basically stay wherever, because like this smoke blocks off all the angles. Do not smoke
right
top here. This is usually a pretty bad smoke. And it gives the enemies the option to cross over here, hide in this corner, hide somewhere in tower, and just in general, don't smoke that spot if you're playing B side. If they are coming main, use a smoke right here in the middle,
Down.
and then spam through the smoke, try to get some kills. You can also use a molly to stop them even further, so anyone walking out is going to take a lot of damage from that molly. If you shoot that molly a little farther behind, like this, it's gonna also hit this corner right here, but it doesn't fully cover main. So if you know somebody is in this corner right here, you can use a molly like this, and then just hold them from walking out. If they are not walking out, they're gonna die to the molly. If they're walking out, they're gonna die to you holding them. If there's still a smoke, but you see somebody in this corner, you can still use that molly, but then I'd recommend you to just spray. Because like that, they're gonna walk into your spray, they're gonna be slowed because of your bullets, and they're gonna take a lot of damage. Another really good thing is, if your enemy team has a Sage, the Sage is most likely gonna wall out like this. If you then have a ult, you can just ult main like this, and then hold the top part right here. If they are walking out on the top, they're a free kill. If they're running back, they're gonna take a lot of damage from your ult. This is especially good if they are as a full team, especially on an eco or something, walking up here. trying to take the space. Other than that, I recommend you use your ult to destroy the killjoy ult in under. Just hold it out. If you see they have a killjoy ult, play in a safe spot. And as soon as they killjoy ult, insta ult back. Like that, you're gonna hit their killjoy too, and their killjoy is gonna take a lot of damage, and you might even get a kill on the killjoy, and the killjoy ult is broken. And one last thing, you can always use a one-way like this one.
Launching smoke.
Especially if they don't have any smokes, this one-way is pretty strong, because everyone walking out is gonna be one-way, then you can just claim your free kills through the smoke, then the enemies are not gonna be able to see you. This is a one-way I only recommend if their smokes player has already died and if they don't have a clove that has died close to you, so they can smoke off this part and you can play here pretty safely and just hold them from coming out of main. Other than that, also use your stim beacon towards spawn, right here. So everyone rotating in is going to get hit by the stim beacon, you might get a lot of assists from it, and you can do a lot of damage on every other player that is coming out, for example in main, and drop if you are boosted by the stim beacon because you're shooting way faster than you wouldn't normally shoot. Switching over towards attack. On attack, your job is pretty easy. As a Brim, you are a really simple agent, I'd say, because Brim's utility is really easy to use. If you're planning to hit A fast, I'd recommend to use a stim beacon right here, get everyone playing close here, and trying to push up here so they are faster towards site. And then you use smokes up here and up here.
Smoke's down.
And if the enemies really like to play this spot right here, or close here under, you can also use a smoke either here below, or even on top of the boxes right here, to one-way them off and give your team more space to take. This smoke right here is kind of situational. If you have a lot of enemies playing close here under, trying to peek your team, I recommend to do this smoke right here. If your team decides to take sands and rope almost every round, I don't recommend a smoke right here. Because this smoke kind of blocks them off and it makes it harder for your team to take the space right here. Something I also recommend is as a Brim that you are always the guy that takes the spike. Because you have a molly, you have 3 smokes. If you have used those 3 smokes and your stim beacon, you don't really have any more util, and then you can just play on site and go for picks. Almost any other agent has a recharging ability, and they can use that recharging ability later in the round. So you are going to be the guy that dies on the site in a certain kind of way. So you are like almost always the guy that plays on the site, so go towards the site. If you have lineups for this map, which is a pretty good thing to have, but I don't have any, that's why I'm not showing you any. It is worth going out, but always be the guy that is planting, because like that you farm your ult, and your ult is pretty strong. Let's say your whole team is going drop. Using a stim beacon right here is always a good idea. If you're contacting up though, don't use a stim beacon, because your stim beacon makes noise. So just wait for your stim beacon till you are getting contact from an enemy player, and then throw your stim beacon. Other than that, the smokes, if you are all going drop, are pretty easy. Just smoke here and smoke here on top of the boxes.
Smoke's down.
Because like that you smoked off the whole of site, and you also smoked off the rope area and the CT area. So taking site for your team is going to be pretty easy. Just be aware there is a small gap between here where the enemies can see you through, but in general this smoke is pretty good for taking the site, and you only need 2. And then if you resmoke, I'd recommend a resmoke either here in link or here on top of the boxes. Both resmokes are pretty good, especially the one on top of the boxes if you have somebody holding CT, because you then have a one-way on anyone coming out drop right here. Best planting spots, by the way, on B are on top of here, right in this corner. And most of the people probably don't agree, because it is a pretty risky spot to get that plant down. But this spot is really good, because it is open to here. It is a small area where they can defuse. It is also open towards main, towards here, and also kind of towards drop. And because it is so open, this spot right here is the best spot you can plant on this map. Other than that, if you are coming from main and you have the control in a main, I'd recommend you go for a plant right here, because this spot is open towards main, and anyone in main can spam this spot right here. This is especially good if you have your molly and your ult. You can then just, even if they smoke off, play back here, use a molly like this one to get them off of the spike, or even go further back and use your ult like this
Open up the sky.
So nobody is able to defuse, and you can save a lot of time for your team. This spot right here in this corner is also pretty good. For example, if you have a killjoy mollies can just be thrown around here. It isn't even too precise, and they are not going to be able to use the to get the defuse in, or even a breach aftershock that goes through this wall right here. If your breach is coming from here, even from drop, you can aftershock this spot. This spot right here, plant right here if you're planting for main. If you want to plant really open, you can also plant in this corner right here. This corner is kind of open, so you gotta be careful from CT and drop, and also a little from main. But if you have somebody in main and CT, and somebody in drop or drop and CT are smoked, you don't really have to worry. This spot is right here is pretty good because it's all the way in the open, but it is actually pretty hard to spam. If you want to go for a safe plan, planting safe behind here is also a pretty decent idea, but then you need to play on the side or have a lot of lineups for the spot right here, because you can't see that spot from main, but you can spam through. But there's a certain spot right here, if you are defusing right here, you're safe from any spam. So I recommend, if you plant right here, to have lineups for this spot, or you plan on playing on the side. Switching over towards B. From B, it is in general a pretty good idea to send a flash into main, because there's usually somebody standing right here close with an AWP or just with a vandal or a sheriff, so you don't get an enemy taking a kill on you. You as a Brim are going, I'd recommend you're going over here and just let your teammates go in first. Because if you die as a Brim, this is really bad because your team doesn't have any smokes left. So always let your teammates take first contact, and then you are the guy refragging them. Never be the guy that is walking in first, dying, and then your team doesn't have any smokes. For B smokes, I'd recommend you smoke right here, and canteen and gen.
Smokes down.
These two smokes can be used almost every round if you're going B, because you're blocking off the CT area from here and from here. And then you just need to worry about the spot close here or in tower. Do not smoke off tower right here. I've seen that some people do that, a smoke like this one, but this smoke is really bad, because like that you give the enemies the space here in tower, because it is almost impossible to re-clear that space with a smoke right here. This smoke is so bad, and I don't know why people are still doing it. I know it's annoying to have somebody peeking from up here, but for that you have other teammates util, or you can even throw a molly yourself, so that people can't really peek out here with just coming in towards main and throwing a molly right here. You stop them from peeking out here, and you kind of only give them the space in this corner and further back. And in general, do not smoke this off. This is a space you want to take. As an attacker, do not smoke it off. If you are coming B from arcade, you use the same two smokes. Right one here in link, and right one here in canteen one. I sometimes see people smoking off this area too, but I don't recommend this smoke. If the defenders smoke it off, it is good for you, because you can then just take tower for free. And in general, it is pretty easy to just smoke off these two spots, and then use your last smoke to either smoke off gen if you hear a lot of people in gen, or canteen if you want to go back towards main and you hear a lot of people in canteen. Something you can also do with Brim on this map is to use your ult to clear out tower, with an ult like this one.
Open up the sky. My ult's ready.
But for an ult like this one, I'd recommend to have a person holding from here, so the people can't go out there, and have a person holding here, so the people can cross over in this cubby. If there is somebody in this cubby, use another piece of util to clear that out. For example, a gecko molly, or just even your own molly by throwing it right here, and then ulting tower.
Open up the sky.
You can clear out all of tower, and this is in general pretty good. I don't recommend this ult if the enemies have a killjoy ult. Just save your ult for a killjoy ult. And in general, this is pretty good to use if the enemies have a killjoy ult somewhere that you will need to break.
Open up the sky. My ult's ready.
What I also see a lot of Brim players doing, which is in my opinion a pretty bad thing, is to save their ult for a certain situation other than a killjoy ult. Just use your Brim ult if you can get a guaranteed kill. For example, if you see somebody crossing over here in this cubby, just use your ult, get that person out of the cubby, get your free kill.
Open up the sky.
It is a guaranteed kill, and you can save some more time. Don't be too concerned about your ult not getting any kills. Just use it to clear out certain spaces. This is a pretty good thing you can do on a Brim. And in general to use with your all of your ult. If you get a guaranteed kill, use it. Don't be stingy with it. One last thing you can use before I go to the outro is a smoke on top of the Chen right here. It's pretty good to hold the Chen area because it is a one way for everyone walking out here. And you can hold it from here if you have control over this. Or you can even hold it from here because anyone walking out is gonna be one way and you can get some free kills off of that. I have one last tip and one more thing after that to end off the video. The tip is, if you want to learn some Brimstone lineups, you can use a simple trick. It is pretty hard to use on Fracture though, because Fracture has a lot of elevation changes and a lot of roofs like over most spots. But I found out it works, for example, right here. If you aim up and then place a smoke on the default plant spot, for example, if you have planted right here, use a smoke and check where the smoke is coming from. You can then use your molly and it lands exactly where the smoke is. This is kind of random though right now on this map because there's stuff like this, elevation changes right here. But in general, if you want to learn a lineup or come up with a new lineup, you can use this trick pretty effectively to know about where you have to aim. And then you switch around a little bit to get exactly the spot where the molly has to land. And the tip is, if you are playing Brimstone, don't try to do something overly aggressive or just overly weird, because Brimstone is a really simple agent. You wait for your teammates to entry, you smoke for them. For example, if your team is going B, you come up here, you wait. As soon as you see your team coming out here, you have your smokes pre-placed. As soon as you see your team going out, place a smoke, run in behind them, maybe use a stim beacon, go on site, plant, and then run back. And then you can play from main with a molly like this. Just don't overcomplicate things. Brim is a pretty simple agent, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you're playing Brimstone. Just smoke, use your stim beacon, use your molly to deny plant or to deny exit from certain spaces. If I had to give Brim a ranking from S to F, I'd actually give him the S tier again. For those guys who have already seen my the ranking every smokes on this map, or just how to play every smokes on this map, it is pretty clear. Brim is an S tier agent, his smokes are pretty easy to use, his ult has insane value on this map, and in general Brim is a pretty good agent to play on this map because he has the ability to smoke 3 spots at the same time, and he is also a pretty easy agent to use. Especially his stim beacon gets a lot of value from this map because there's really narrow choke points where you have to walk through, and with a stim beacon right there, your whole team is faster. Brim's ult is also pretty good to destroy the Killjoy ult as soon as they nerf Tejo, and in general I'd recommend you use Brim on this map. That would be it from me. If you have any questions or suggestions which agents I should play next, write them down in the comments. And if you want to see anything else Valorant related, write them down in the comments as well. Other than that, don't forget to like and sub, and come say hi to me on Twitch where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!